Hello everyone, my name is Ems. You can also call me Emre. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how I ended up going through a hotel quarantine from a home quarantine in Ningbo city of China. Alright, so this is my 8th day in this hotel right now. And when I heard that I was supposed to finish the rest of my quarantine in a hotel, I was kind of pissed off. It was shocking to me. That was very unexpected. So on my previous video, I made a share that how I brought down to home quarantine, and to me and to all of us actually that who knows my situation, it's kind of unfair. And the reason why is because during the time when I came to China, I knew I would get quarantined, but I would be under quarantine, but I wouldn't think that that would be really this tough. They would keep me waiting in Ningbo train station for probably approximately for 4 hours or more, and they would decide that I'm going to go through a home quarantine like that, despite I'm coming from a low risk country during the time, Turkey, because they realized my Canadian passport. They just decided to get me through a mandatory home quarantine for 14 days, which I understood. And either I would be under a home quarantine or not, I would probably keep myself isolated for a while anyways. But then after my first week through my quarantine at home, I got a WeChat message from our community worker. That's, by the way, how they were keep monitoring things. I also mentioned on my previous video, but I probably didn't explain that there is also a temperature check. Besides, you can order your food from downstairs and you can just throw your garbage once the guy with the Cortez brings the whole big garbage can. And you also have to, update your temperature in the morning time and at night, basically like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. twice a day. So the same thing applies over here, and even more details I will explain. But over there, we had this WeChat group where they monitor everything and where you update your temperature to the group. I was updating my temperature from the WeChat group, and all of a sudden I got a message, bam, hey Emre, there was someone with a positive case on the plane that you came from Moscow, and so we have to take you out of home and we have to send you to a centralized hotel and you have to go through a hotel quarantine. And I'm like, what? No, I'm already halfway through my home quarantine and I'm not going anywhere. I just ignored it and I didn't even get pissed off. I'm like, no, I'm not going through any of this. This is not happening. But despite all my ignorance, in 2 hours I had to pack all my stuff, come here. As you see, this is right now where I am, in this single person room or small hotel room, however you name it. Basically, until I ended up here, obviously there are a lot of other details, and let me explain all of that. So this shocking news came through the social media, right? Like through the WeChat group we have, and over there you just don't take it serious. No one is calling you, no one is giving you any alarm or anything. Like there is no like instant phone call. It's just on your computer and somebody just throws one message and say, hey Emre, you're going to a hotel quarantine. You don't take it serious. And all of a sudden in 2 hours you're packing your things because they told me if I ignore that the police will come to my door. And I'm like, alright, okay, let's go. So in 20 minutes I have to prepare everything on a single luggage, big size, and whatever I brought, I had to just deal with that right away. It was like very instant. Despite they gave me a notification in a couple hours, because I couldn't believe this is happening. It took some time to adapt the change, and then I had to prepare my luggage and go. So this is how it all happened, like kind of like stressful, pretty fast forwards, and you ended up right here down there. So as I said, we have this WeChat groups from the community workers. So your community worker on your WeChat group is the one that's controlling everything. He is the one that you're dealing with during your home quarantine, I'm talking about. Because when I was in Ningbo train station, it was my community worker brought me to my apartment. Actually, it was someone with a Cortez, the driver, but someone connected to my community apartment stuff, so they brought me there. I've been told before coming to hotel, the first message I got on the WeChat group was, you are going to go to hotel and you're going to finish the rest of the quarantine days in the hotel, centralized hotel, as they say. So 7 days done at home quarantine, so the next 7 days will be in hotel, right? But when I came into hotel, I've been told differently.
So, 2 weeks.
I cannot do 2 weeks, I'm sorry.
So some staff of the community will come to explain it. They will come and explain it.
I already done 1 week. Why don't they check my health condition and they say?
But we only execute the rules. We only execute the rules. We have to obey the rules.
I understand. It's not this is not your decision. What I'm saying is just, why don't they check? I already paid 150 RMB for health checks. They can check my health. And if there's something not wrong about me, why am I staying here 14 days? I can do 7 days and then wait home for 7 days.
So I know. So
I appreciate
I also can't understand, but I only execute.
This is not making sense.
跟准备台北走了啊！看准备到台北，在台北走了。
And that kind of blew my mind, because 7 days and plus 14 days again, according to rules, and the rules are always updating in Ningbo, and that's another stuff that you always have to keep an eye on. So as foreigners, when you are coming here in China, anywhere that you go in China, there are different rules according to the province that you're going to, or the city that you're going to. For example, when I came into Shanghai, nobody told me to, stay in any hotel or quarantine at all, because they knew I'm coming from Turkey. They didn't care. Until I came into Ningbo, the rules are different, right? They just all of a sudden saw my Canadian passport, the whole panic started, all the stress, and then I ended up in home quarantine. After a week, I've been told that in the plane that I came from Moscow to Shanghai, there was one person with a positive COVID case. And here's another update that changes your life. So these updates are worth giving attention, because otherwise you cannot, you cannot go by your decisions over here when the rules are so strict. Here's the problem, or here's the issue. So as a result, I have to go through another 14 days period over here, which is my 8th days. I think I mentioned that, and I have 6 days more. Despite I fight, and ironically, I spent 2.5 hours downstairs until they figure out why is it all happening, and they couldn't even understand. And what I mean by they, these are police officers, hotel staff, the actual official workers, just for the COVID case. Most of them are dressed up in Cortez. These people did not understand, why am I supposed to do 14 plus days when I already finished my 7 days in the home quarantine? Maybe 7 more days in the hotel would be understood, would be clearly understood why is the reason, but Why am I doing a new 14 days? Apparently, when I arrived in the hotel during the time or the day before, they have new health and safety concerns about what's going on with COVID cases in Ningbo city. So all the updates are affecting our life and changing our circumstances. That's what I'm trying to say through this video, and how the things happened, how I ended up going through hotel quarantine at this point. I wouldn't expect any of that, you know. I was like, okay, I think luckily I'm doing my home quarantine, and it's not going to be super expensive for me right now. I'm in a hotel quarantine under my own expense, and I'm kind of laughing. I don't know what else to say. It's just you cannot ignore this. There's nothing you can do about this. If the laws and the rules or the policies are changing, you have to go with that. You have to go with that flow. Let's put it this way. Basically, in this room, we have also another rules and policies that we have to follow. One of them is if you order food, it must be until 6 p.m. So you have to order your food ahead of time. At this point, right now it's 4:15, so I have to order my food soon until it gets 6 p.m. because there will be no delivery from the hotel staff down there. It's over. The hotel expenses are basically it's 300 RMB a day, so they get your payment ahead of time. If they let you go out earlier, that depends on your green card, and I'm going to explain what the green card is later on during the video. Through my quarantine time in this hotel, when I came here actually first time, I paid 150 RMB. This is for examination. So if you're, if you're a suspected case, like health-wise, in case of coronavirus, you basically end up having the red card or orange card. You won't have a green card, which I'm going to talk about. Basically, through your application, you just have to have one of those with the green color. This is orange card. Orange card is people traveling to Zhejiang from overseas countries and regions will be put under 14-day quarantine at designated facilities for medical observation. So if you have green card, you can leave the hotel. I may have a chance because, as I explained, this is my 17th day, which I have 4 days more. But I don't think they will let me go earlier, so I will have to do another 14 days after 7 days, which will be 21 days quarantine period for me. Let me talk about the hotel we are living in right now. This hotel is designated for, at this point of time, for foreigners. And there are 2 more hotels around the Ningbo city, I heard. Alongside with me, there are approximately 35 foreigners in this hotel. And basically everyone is waiting their leave. Some of them came earlier, some of them came late. And the numbers change, as people leave, this number can go down to 30 or even more as people are coming from overseas to China. So I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think I'm expecting more foreigners, as we have also our own WeChat group that we share information and help. Thankfully, some of my foreigner friends, I ended up finding them here from the groups. They helped me to set up the Wi-Fi, gave me some information, and they taught me how to do takeouts. Because the hotel we are living in offers food for 75 RMB, but it's too expensive and the food isn't my thing, as I am a pescatarian. It's also another hardship or challenge that I'm having here in China, because if you are a vegetarian or pescatarian like me, maybe pescatarian has a little more chance, but vegetarian, it's a low chance that you can find the food you like, you really enjoy to eat. Over here they add meat in every type of food and you just go nuts. So you need to have a Chinese friend, or you need to have someone speak English. Someone can understand English that you will tell no meat please, or just don't put sauce or things that I don't want additionally. So I'm kind of picky about food. Anyways, they also took the hotel expenses ahead of time. it's 300 RMB a day. So for 14 days, I had to pay 4,200 RMB a day at a time when I was down there. They just took out of your card right away. Even they took 1 week payment of food because I didn't know the takeouts and take-in around here. This hotel is around Vanda Plaza of Ningbo. If you're familiar with Ningbo city, you may know. This area is pretty crowded and usually where most of the foreigners are kind of hanging out. That's the area basically, but I'm not so much familiar with the area, so I didn't think about take out. During the time when they were explaining me and giving me all the shocking news about staying here for 14 days, I could not think about anything else, you know, just like, oh my god, why? So I was going through that process during the time. And then the first time I got the hotel food and I didn't like it, and I told them to refund my money, and once the hotel quarantine period is over, they will refund the money back. But obviously the amount of money you paid for hotel will not be refunded because it will be 14 days over. You have to finish that period of time to get your green card. So all the other foreigners the same. Unfortunately, from the social media groups that we have here through WeChat, I'm hearing that all of them are finishing their 14 days, even 15 for some of them. For some reason, once they don't see your green cards, once your green card is not show up on your application, you cannot leave. You have to stay until your examinations and all things done. Also, in this hotel, every day you have to, like in the home quarantine, similar, that every day I have to report my temperature. The first one at 9 a.m., the second one at 3 p.m. Additionally to that, every day you will have a doctor coming, knocking on your door and checking your temperature. They may also come do my blood test nowadays. So they will knock on your door and like, hey, we're doing a swab test. Now we are doing temperature check. Now we are doing blood test. Oh, I'm in the washroom. Come later. They understand that, thankfully. So, other than that, in this hotel, there is no heater allowed to use. The first time when I was checking all these policies, I was getting shocks and shocks over and over, because almost 9 days ago, it's almost 9 days, I call it. I think the days are going to pass pretty fast here. Right there's a nylon patch on top of that air conditioner grill. We cannot use our air conditioner here in case of fire. That's on the policy. When you're downstairs, they give you a piece of paper that just they're all like, all the rules and regulations are written there. So you cannot use a heater over here. You cannot bring your own heater or electric heater. And I'm going to do another episode during my quarantine days, and how am I coping with quarantine, and what am I going through, or what am I dealing with, or how can I handle the situation. But I will briefly explain how I deal with that right now. It's actually, I figured out the best way to deal if the room is cold or if it's not warm enough. Luckily right now it's almost spring and it's getting warm out there. The first time when I came here, the room was pretty cold, and I realized other foreigners are going through the same problem or same hardship, you name it. And the best way that I could deal with it was to taking cold shower. Luckily, I started taking cold shower intuitively over 3 months ago. This was before the whole pandemic started up. During the time we call this epidemic, right? So I just wanted to start it intuitively by checking this person called Wim Hof. If you have heard of him, I would definitely recommend him to check out. He has many great exercises and health improvement skills, self-improvement and whatnot. So when I started it was in the middle of the winter, and that was a different reason back then. In my workplace, there were rooms that were cold, and I wanted to deal with that. So the best way I could deal with that was to accept cold and integrate with cold. So I just started taking cold showers, and I started to get the exercises and how to do it. Over here, I was luckily ready to, apply my skills. So when I came here, I'm like, all right, this is the time that I should do this more and more. So I started taking cold showers every day to deal in case if there is cold. Another way to cope with it would be, I also did the same thing. They allow us to use second blanket, so I ordered one on my third or fourth day, because at night when you go to sleep, your body temperature goes down and you're not physically active, so you just lose a bit of a body temperature, right? So you need to have you better have a second blanket in a room like this when you're not using any heater or anything. Just a couple days ago, a friend of mine luckily sent me this, which you can just plug it in and it will boil down in 5-6 minutes and it will stop, and it's ready to keep you warm for over probably 15-16 hours. As it's losing its own temperature. Basically, it's pretty it keeps the bed pretty warm. You can just put that underneath your blanket and just go to sleep with that. It will make you feel relaxed and safe, and it will make you feel relaxed and warm after all. And these are the best ways that I could deal with the cold if there's necessity to cope with that. Also, in the same time, if there's any problem or any maintenance, like yesterday I had a problem with one of the window on the other side. I have 2 windows that I can open up, and one of them got stuck. So I called the hotel staff, which we have a WeChat group that we can just discuss and share our temperature. So from there I could do some updates. Guy in the Cortez, repair guy, apparently came out and did it in 5-6 minutes. It's not on the video, I couldn't take it on the video, but that's what happened just yesterday, for example. So at this point, this is how we deal with things in the hotel room like this. You can just sometimes, open your door and look around outside. I mean, you're not allowed to go outside anyways, but nobody's going to say anything when you open the door, as you see on the video. It's just like you look around and just close the door. You don't even think about going out anyways. In a situation like that, in a mindset like that, you're not allowed to go anywhere anyways. So hopefully for all of us, this will be over, and these are the things so far that I learned and I witnessed and experienced during my quarantine time. I hope I gave you enough details and insight about what's going on here. If you like this video, please subscribe. I will try to do my best to give you more details during what's going on with my quarantine and what I witnessed and what I learned through my experiences in China. See you.